You've got a lovely scenery behind you.
I can't hear you yet.
You can't?
I can't hear you yet. I think the audio connection.
All right, hold on.
I can hear you now. Yes, that's cool.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
No, I said, what a scenery behind you. How did you get so quickly to Jamaica?
I know, right? I figure it might be the best place to do this from.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I've got my boring library behind me.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing boring about the library.
Yeah, no, that's actually become quite popular in my podcast, having the library behind me.
Yeah, that's all right.
So, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And you?
Yeah. I mean, very busy, as you are as well.
It's good. Yeah, it's good to be busy.
Which is very good. Absolutely. So, first of all, I just wanted to introduce you to my audience quickly. It's the Future Man.
Yes.
Yeah, well-known reggae artist, especially here in the UK. He's got his own band. He goes on festivals around the world and plays happy music, lovely music, actually. I've listened to his music. And what intrigues me specifically is that you are dedicated to youth mental health work, bringing difficult people or difficult youngsters off from the road and giving them a future. And because I'm a mind coach, I'm a dedicated psychologist, which is why I was so much interested in that, because it's so important to look after our generation, the next generation. You do not have to do these things because you're well known, you're well established, but this is just one of your passions.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's nothing greater than to be able to do what you can to help others and uplift others and find their own self-worth, and so
that's right.
It's a joy to be able to do youth work and help youth that is less privileged, and also youths that lost their way somewhere along the, lost their way a little bit, to try to help them, get back on the right path so that they can be able to be successful in whatever career path they choose. So for me, it's not even like work, really. It's just like serving a purpose, if you like, to build a better society if possible.
Which is lovely. That's how it should be. Because if you just look at work, you wouldn't be able to fulfill that with such dedication, how you've been doing that. I mean, you're a busy man. But I wanted to start in general. If you could maybe tell my audience about your life, how it all developed, where you come from, what you do, and how it then went into youth work.
Okay, well, I was born and raised in a little village in Jamaica called Middle Buxton in St. Ann. You know what I mean? So I grew up in Jamaica. I do know what it's like to feel like, society or whatever it is, or people don't think that you would mount to anything. So, like I said, growing up as an underprivileged youth myself, I kind of can relate to a lot of the youths them who society tends to not give much attention to or put too much focus on developing them and just allowing them to become a part of the, negative side of the system, become another statistic, you know what I mean? So because of that, I know I'm quite passionate about working with youths, as I said, and doing what I can to help them to build some self-worth and some self-belief. So for me, it's just a natural thing, and it wasn't very hard when the opportunity arises to go and do something like this. It wasn't something that I think I have to give much thought to. It was just happened naturally, and I've been doing that for like 17 years, as well as doing my music, you know what I mean? So, and it kind of worked well as well because I work in a special education school. It also means that I get all of the school holidays off, especially like the summertime, when it's most of the time when I'm traveling to do a festival, whether it's UK or Europe or wherever, you know what I mean? So it's kind of go hand in hand. So, you know what I mean? I'm grateful for that. And now my music is music of upliftment, to empower people, to keep people positive, to tell people to believe in themselves despite of circumstances or what other people believe. You know what I mean? So my music represents the have not. I'm like a voice of the poor people, and the have not are those without voice. You know what I mean? So that's what my music represents. So anybody at all that would like to check out some positive and uplifting reggae music to brighten up your day, then please go and check out The Future Man anywhere on the internet. And it's spelled DA space FUCHAMAN. You know what I mean? Get some positive vibes in your life. You know, that's what it's about.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a wonderful introduction. I mean, I will also put a banner up at the bottom of this podcast so people can look up and see your wonderful work which you have been doing. I did see quite a few clips. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know how we connected through TikTok actually with your TikTok live you was doing and the first.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, big up all of them. Big up to all of the TikTok people that showed some love. That was just another avenue of, you know, TikTok for me was just an avenue of like meeting new people as well and spreading the joy in difficult times. Because first and foremost, the idea of me doing TikTok originally was like a no-no. I didn't really see that as something that I want to do. So I must say that I'm quite guilty of snubbing TikTok when it first come about, when I see what people was doing on there. And then when the first lockdown happened and I was at home for like so long by myself and then start thinking I need to start, you know, I was getting bored. Let's say I was getting bored. Let's be honest. I was getting bored, not knowing what to do with myself. All of my shows that I was meant to go and perform, whether UK or wherever, was canceled. And I started to look into the TikTok and I started doing, you know, some crazy stuff, some jokes and stuff. And all of a sudden, like 20,000 people started following me and then was loving the vibes. And then I realized that all this time I was knocking TikTok and saying, oh, yeah, it's not for me. I realized that there was a missed opportunity going there to connect with people. I mean, evidently, I'm talking to you right now, which if I didn't go on TikTok, then this wouldn't be happening. So, you know, sometimes they say you must knock it until you try it, and TikTok is one of them things, you know what I mean? I suppose like anything in life, it's what you make of it. So if you still use it for the positive or the greater good, then you can achieve that. So I think, you know, it's teach me to be a little bit more open-minded to things and not just to view one point of one things that I see, because I think I was certainly judging TikTok based on what I see people sharing from TikTok, not thinking that actually I could actually go there and do exactly what I've been doing on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube to spread the joy and reach people with my music, you know what I mean? So yeah, I've been humbled by it, to say the least.
That's very interesting, actually. And I bet a lot of people can actually resonate to you with that because, you know, especially during the pandemic, I think it just hit off with social media. It may have not been so intense, especially for professionals like yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it put the focus on social media, which you can see now 80% of them are just focused now on social media because the pandemic has brought some good things out of that as well, because it's more approachable, especially for people who can't go anywhere, who maybe not be able to afford certain things. You know, you can just go on social media and do that. And I have to admit, I was against everything because I only started social media last few months. And because my family is quite conservative in general, you know, they put you off from all these social media sites. Don't put your picture up and don't put this up and don't put that up. But to be honest, we have to understand, and a lot of people don't understand, is that this is the kind of era we're living in nowadays. You know, that's how you promote yourself, that's how you get your messages across, and that's how you connect to wonderful people like yourself. I've created so many connections which I would have never thought I would in general, unless you go to certain places and you go to certain events. You wouldn't have connected to anyone like this. And, you know, now I've got connections all over the world, and that is the likes of social media.
Yeah, I mean, it is good. And like, if you use it in the right way, then it can be good. But also can't stray away from the fact that social media can be quite negative as well, in a sense of where people use it for their own dirty game and to be mean to other people. But we can't really do much about that. But also as well, there is a element of it taking away people's ability to socialize within person to person as well. People became unsociable. I mean, like, I have become a little bit unsociable where as I feel like I am quite happy to not even go and meet people anymore because since the lockdown, I've just been spending so much time at home and not necessarily meeting people or going to places that I used to go. And I know it became a thing where I'm not that bothered about going and do these things anymore. So, I mean, so it can actually get a bit of a negative side of it as well on a social level. And when I say social level, I mean social media is for people to socialize as well, but people never always show their true self on social media. And then it's very easy to get drawn into that, because then when you get into lockdown and spending months and months at home, you know what I mean? It's like you become conditioned to not socializing with a lot of people at any given time. You know what I mean? But I'm a people person, and I can feel like that. So I'm just imagining people who is normally shy of socializing with people in general, how much harder it is for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's come with its good and its bad, but we uphold and embrace the good and positive.
Absolutely.
That we
that's what it's about, what we take out. Exactly. That's what it's about, what we take out of that. You know, I mean, my posts, as you've seen, are just about encouraging people, empowering people, giving positive messages. It's nothing else. And I just try to put it in a fun way so people can relate to that, because often what I see from my point of view in my profession is that a lot of articles and news and posts have been posted in a way that the average people do not connect to that. And not just average people, even consultants, you know, academics, you know, who wants to go through 12 pages of reports, even though that's facts, but who wants to go through these things? So I wanted to put like a mixture of glamour, what you can see from all these funny and glamorized social media posts, and with academic knowledge and research-based information out there. So people can actually connect to that and take a message home. And that's what it's about. I've seen that with your posts as well, and with your clips and with your songs, what you do. It's just a way how you present yourself, be a bit more creative, a bit different than other people, different than the crowd. And then people do get interested, and it does create a positive impact. That's what it's about. You know, we hold the power to manipulate these things to a positive side. And that's what we can do.
Yeah, man. Well, I think that's what it's about. Like I said earlier, I'm about spreading positive vibes, you know what I mean? So I always do everything I can to give people hope and strength and help people to believe in themselves. You know what I mean? So I think that's what is missing. There is like so much negativity that's hanging around now, and there is like so much things that is not going right for people. And it is important to try to get people away from that and get people to understand that despite of the circumstances, things will change. And also the fact that good will always overcome evil. And also that where people have been searching for riches and success, very often we are looking in the wrong places.
Yeah.
Because the greatest riches and the greatest success that one can achieve is the ability to love and to be loved. So I try to let people know that and try to uphold that these are the important things in life, because at the end of the day, no amount of money or wealth that you call wealth, because wealth and real riches is not about house, money, car, and land, and people need to pull themselves away from that and realize that there's a lot more to life more than that, because none of those bring you happiness. But the ability to have people to love you because you give them love, no money cannot buy that, because that is priceless, because many people have a lot of money and they're very lonely. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to get people to find joy and peace within oneself.
And that is so beautifully said. Absolutely. It is about spreading love, and it is about self-love as well. You know, if you don't love yourself, you're not happy with yourself, you can't spread the love. And with you, I can see that. I mean, we've spoken quite a few times about it. You are quite content within yourself, you know, despite all these challenges you have gone through, you have taken out something positive and created opportunities from that.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, over the last probably few years and few months and things, there is segments in my life where things didn't go to plan or happen how I wanted and things. And then I came to realize that comes the times in life when you need to focus on the things that is in your control and the things that you can do something about, and let not waste any energy or too much energy on the things that is out of your control, because the reason why they say something is out of your control is because you can't do anything about it. So you cannot worry your troubles away. You cannot worry your troubles away. So sometimes, even though it's difficult, we got to accept things for what they are and know that we need to look in other direction and try to find peace within oneself and try to make the most of the things that you can change and the things that you can do something about. Because being worried and depressed over a situation that you cannot control is never going to change anything. So this is a realization within oneself, where one try to understand oneself and realize that one is being more empowered by sharing these views and ideology. And then one try to show that and share that with other people and let people also understand that if you can't find peace within yourself, then you will never find that within anyone else either.
Absolutely. And that's so beautifully said. I mean, it's part of my program as well. You just described my work.
Okay.
Yes, no, absolutely. I mean, this is why I'm actually now connecting to positive people, very like-minded people who have a very similar mindset. Because you come to a part of your life where you don't want negative people around you no more. And that's not to say that you don't want to help them, but that's just to say that because you are on a certain mindset, you're trying to create a people around you who are similar to that mindset, because otherwise your focus wouldn't be actually, or cannot be dedicated to the ones who really are in need, because it's too distracted, or it's too consumed by very negative people, you know. And that's the good thing about that. And I can see that with you as well, this dedication which you have on also bringing with your youth program, young people, inspiring them with your music as well. It's just a beautiful way to connect this new generation. I mean, what a better way to connect when you put on lovely, positive music on, and you can show this youth actually that there are opportunities there if they wanted to do that. You know, it doesn't have to go a way of blaming society or blaming the environment or blaming the upbringing. You are showing them another way to do better. And you did tell me that on one of our chats that some of these youngsters, they did follow you at some point and did actually address to you how you have supported them and how you have inspired them, even though you haven't been present with them for a long time.
Yeah, it is. That's one of the most joyful feeling there is, you know. Over the years, I've been doing this, like I said, for 17 years this year. And I've met a lot of youths. I've been always working with teenagers. So as you'd imagine, most of them would be adults now. So very often I bumped into some of them or on social media, and they will say like, "Oh, sir, you're still working in the school doing this? Oh, sorry, I was a pain when he was working with me, you know. Now I realize he was only trying to help me, you know what I mean? It's an amazing thing that you're doing, you know." And them kind of thing, they inspire me and they make me want to, you know, they empowered me to keep going and know that I'm doing something positive, because there's nothing greater than you can do to actually help somebody to find themselves and to be successful, help them to believe in themselves. You know, one of the things that I think as adults are guilty of is very often think that they also just know what is best for the youths, instead of finding out from the youths what it is that they want. What are they trying to achieve? Because this is very important as well, because it's important that we know that when you're working with youths, it's only for so long that you're going to be working with them for and holding their hands for. So it's important to equip them with the right tool from early on. Try to find out what things that is positive that they're interested in and help them to build on that, because you know, within a couple of years, 2-3 years, we won't be working with them anymore. They'll be out in society trying to survive by themselves. So it's important not to just try to tell them what you think they should be doing, but to find out what they want to be doing and empower them, as long as it's something positive, and try to guide them and make sure that they're strong enough to deal with situation when they're no longer with you. You know what I mean?
That is a very, that's right. That is a very important point to make. that you don't want to impose your ideas onto somebody else, whether
No.
it's a young person or older person. You want to actually empower them to find their own way in the right way, you know, in the positive way, rather than looking for reasons not to evolve or not to progress as such. And that's a very beautiful thing to say, because I see that with is your back hurting? I get that because I've got a
I think I'm not sitting in the best position. So I'm kind of feel like I need to put a couple of cushions behind me to make sure that I don't put too much stress on my back. You know, I'm 40 years old.
I get that. That's why I've got my pillow behind me.
Yeah, okay, that's better. I'm 40 years young now, so I got to try to, like, you know, protect the back and stuff like that.
40 is so young, you know, nowadays, especially nowadays. Don't talk about 40. 40 is too young.
Yeah, that's why I said 40 years young.
Absolutely. No, and that's why I was talking about. You just took me off the track. I don't even know what I was talking about. Anyway, yes, the youngsters, what I wanted to say is it's a very good point to make. You've got lovely hair, by the way.
Thank you.
And they can compete with mine now.
Almost, right?
Yeah. No, what I was saying is that it's a very lovely way to say that you don't actually want to impose your own ideas to somebody else. You're trying to empower them to become the best version of themselves. And that's what it's about, you know. I mean, I just have a little sample, which I've talked to one of my guests about in one of my previous podcasts about as well, that my son was going through his GCSE last year. And as you know, through the pandemic, all these, the schools got cancelled and the tests got cancelled in the usual way, and they were assessed very differently. So my son was kind of emotionally, he was struggling with a lot of things.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to do with him is I got him into a routine of studying where he would have his free time as well, and he would have his study time. So he wouldn't knacker himself, you know, he wouldn't overtire himself. But at the same time, I said to him, look, as long I know you're putting in the work for yourself, I'm not expecting you to do the best. And that's very crucial now. I'm expecting you to do your best.
That is very important.
So as long I know you've done your best, whatever the results might be, I'm happy with that. Don't put yourself into any pressure. Have a bit of structure in life, and then put in the hard work for your own self. And as long as you know you've done it, and there's nothing to regret about it, because we can just work from that, whatever the results might be. And that's the important message to put across to somebody else, that you're not trying to impose your own ideas to the other person, because the other person can never be you. They have to be their own individual.
That's true. I mean, what you've said to your son, this is what I said to my other kids when they were doing their GCSE in school. This is what I said to the kids I work with now. If you know that you have tried your best, there's nothing more you can do. What you don't want to do is actually not try your best and then years later regretting and thinking, man, if I did try my best, maybe I would have done better. Yeah. You do your best and then there's no regret. Whatever happened, whatever the result may be, you know that you tried your best, and that is more than good enough.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because then you can build onto that. And that's another point which I wanted to touch on, that failures are part of success. It's the foundation of success. You know, you cannot build your own success without actually going through failures, trial and errors, good and bad times, because that's how you learn. And you just don't not only learn, you compare from that as well. Because if you gradually only have success in your life, just good times in your life, you wouldn't be able to appreciate them, because you would have nothing to compare with. It would not mean anything.
It is. It's the struggles that we face in life that make us strong. It's impossible to be strong without being through struggles and disappointment.
That's right, because you haven't got nothing to compare with. You know, it doesn't mean anything.
I told people when I was doing a live on my social media that at the end of this pandemic, the world will be a stronger place. People is going to be a lot stronger than ever before, because they will be able to look back in these times and say, you know what, I have survived that. Yeah. So I can survive whatever life throw at me from there on.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I have to object to that. I don't believe in surviving. Surviving is not enough. Thriving is the key point.
Well, you got to be able to survive before you can strive. so it is it's part and parcel. So you got to get through the bad time and then you strive on building it. But the first bit is to be able to survive, get through it, and strive, build from it to keep going. So
absolutely, and not dwell on the surviving.
No, it's not to become complacent after you survive it, but to actually strive for better things and to be better and stronger. No, but first and foremost, before you strive, you got to survive. It's like like you're drowning. You need to survive first before you can make yourself a stronger swimmer, so that next time if you get in the water, it's less likely that you're going to. But the first thing is to survive that. And then after that, you grow and make yourself stronger. Then next time, whatever you come up on, you'll be able to overcome a lot easier, you know?
Absolutely. Totally agree with you.
So change the slogan to survive and then strive.
Absolutely. I still stick to thrive, because that's my main goal for my clients and for my personal life as well. But you're absolutely right. It is about creating your own solutions. That's how I class it, or name it as such, rather than surviving. It's about creating your own solutions. Come out of things. Coming out of your own struggles, and then build from that. Look for things which you've actually learned from these experiences, and then take these, extract these, and apply these into your present life to build then the foundation for your future. And it can only work if you work strategically like this, rather than working in chaos and not knowing where you are. So, and you're bringing the youth or anybody who's in your life or around your life who you work with actually into the right track as well. And I think that's why we have connected in that way. I mean, I just connected instantly when you talked about you're a musician. I didn't even know you at that time, when you was a musician, but you're doing your youth work and you was talking about all these positive things. This what caught me actually, because I was not aware of your career. But what I found interesting is that you was actually spreading really some deep, full, meaningful positivity to people, which just connected with me, because that's what I do. That's what I live for. That's what I express myself. That's what I reflect to people. And that's what it's about. And when you're having this positivity within yourself and the contentment within yourself, you will notice, and you would know that as well. I mean, you've gone through quite a lot of different trouble in your life, meaning challenges from other people as well, where once you reach that stage of positivity and contentment and self-love and self-worth, you automatically start connecting with very like-minded people.
Naturally.
Yeah, absolutely. What would be interesting to know is generally about, being someone from Jamaica itself, and I wanted to talk a little bit about challenges here in this society. If you could maybe just enlighten the audience, some of the challenges you had to go through, especially as a musician, as a person, as a family man, in this world here in the UK, on how many challenges you had to kind of encounter with people. Just give us a little bit of idea. That would be wonderful to know, because people do see you now, the big, reggae artist, but they don't actually see the struggles.
Yeah, well, that is true. I mean, unfortunately, because of history and media and systematic system that created to discriminate against, let's say, Black people in general, as a Black person, I have unfortunately been the victim of racism in really bad way before. I mean, I don't talk about it too much, but I remember living in Kent once and in a place called Maryworth, Kings Hill. And I remember the road as well. I'm going to say the road. The road was called Spitfire Road.
Right.
In Kings Hill,
right.
Kent, under the Tonbridge and Marlin Council. I want to be completely specific of where I was. And I remember we woke up one morning and my house was spray painted with SWAT sticker, National Front written on it, saying, "Get out, we don't want you here." That was a bit frightening for me because I love people and I see people for people despite of whatever color or background they came from. And also, one of the struggles that I face is seeing where you constantly trying to prove people wrong from what the media and what people expect you to be as a Black man. A lot of people expect you to be aggressive and all kind of different things because of what the media sold and what society creates. And you find yourself every day trying to combat that. I got the case where police would have pulled me over many times, and obviously I don't have a criminal record. I've never been involved in nothing criminal, you know, otherwise I couldn't do the job I do.
Yeah.
But then when you see a Black man with dreads driving a certain kind of car or whatever, or looking a certain way, then they feel the needs to stop them and check them.
Mm.
So now one day at my work, they was having some training and they was talking about somebody raised the issue of white privilege, and the guy said that a white guy I work with, nice guy I get on really well with, he said that he don't like the word white privilege because he know a lot of white people who is not very privileged, who are disabled or who are suffering, who are broke, who are poor. But I think he failed to understand. One of the reasons why a lot of people, in particular white people, don't like the word white privilege is because they don't really know what white privilege is. They think that it means that they're rich and they got this and they got that, or they're benefiting from the slave trade and this and that. So for your listeners and people who don't know, let me enlighten you into my definition of white privilege. White privilege is having a sense of belong, that each day when you wake up, you don't have to wonder what people is going to think about you or where you live. You can walk down the street freely because you got a sense of belong. White privilege is also going in the shop without having somebody's security guard following you around. Every aisle you turn up in a supermarket, the security guard managed to be walking through there. White privilege is trying to, like, even if you're hungry, you're trying to put a smile on your face because you don't want people to think that there you go, another hungry Black man that is about to kill somebody. They don't have to do that. I find myself subconsciously very often trying to speak in a way and behave in a way to let people see that actually that's not who we are. What they sell, what society sell and tell people about us is not true. In every community and every color, I believe in one human race, but basically because we're talking about this now, doesn't matter where you come from or what color you are. If you're a good person, you're a good person. And if you're a bad person, you're a bad person. It's just the same. And there's good and bad in everybody because we are living in a world where people is corroded with greed and envy and low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is one of the biggest problems we have in society, which is why a lot of people behave the way they behave because they constantly feel the need to over-exaggerate their own power and people to feel good about themselves. Because of low self-esteem, a lot of people will go out of their way to put you down just so they could feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
And if you got self-esteem, you don't have to do that because you believe in yourself and you believe in what you do. And you know you're not out to harm anyone or do wrong to anyone at all. So you embrace yourself and try to be the best you can be and try to embrace others and share that love and that strength with others.
Thank you very much for explaining that and clarifying this. You're absolutely right. The term you've used and how you've explained it makes fully sense. And I think you are right that most people do actually misconstrue what that term means. Mm-hmm. You know, it needs to be clarified that somebody who does not have to fear anybody or anything or situation, that is what it means. But if you have to fear for your life, for your safety, for your esteem in general, then that's where it becomes a threat. And people just need to understand these things, that they're not derogatory words, they're not derogatory terms, they're just terms which have been laid out to explain a certain situation or explain a certain position which somebody could have in society.
Yeah, well, very often we live in a society and system where the people, they don't want people to come together, so they never take the time to justify or to explain and to give people a good understanding of what's going on here. Because divide and rule is still a thing and will always be a thing, because in order to control people, first you got to divide them. If the people should come together, then there'll be no need for any of these government and their policies and what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it is also their job to separate us so that we keep hating each other so that they can rule over us. Because the thing is, the power of the people is greater than anything when people come together. And no one wants that. They don't want that.
Yeah. Well, it makes it easier because it's a form of distraction. I mean, if we go back in history, it's always been like this. It just has a different name now, a different focus now, but it's never been any different in the terms of how this system, this method works. Because somebody who's at the top doesn't want people to have the attention to them, because it would cause them to fall. It would cause them to be challenged. It would cause them to be a threat. And in order to divert the focus from them, then people create, or these individuals then create a distraction within the mass. And because the mass is not educated, or maybe not emotionally, not intelligent, but emotionally intelligent enough to step back and actually analyze what is exactly happening, their first reaction would be follow what has been happening now. So we will go on defense. I mean, that was one of the things. Did you watch my clip where I did talk about the racial abuse against the 3 young footballers?
No, I didn't see it. No.
Okay, so it was part 1. There's part 2 and part 3 still to come. It was about explaining 2 forms of reaction. So when you've seen these young, beautiful, very talented footballers who have been racially abused just because they missed the penalty or missed to defend the penalty, their first reaction wasn't defense. Their first reaction was to accept what is happening and just move on from that. And that's what I was trying to explain. Sorry, I have to drink some water as well.
That's all right. But I mean, that was their first reaction. But then we're in a society where when I was watching that football and they missed the penalty, my first reaction was like, racism is going to a new high from tonight and tomorrow morning. And I was right. So unfortunately, we, as a Black person, see something like that, we know what is coming next. Because those same people that was racially abused them forgot that it was Raheem Sterling who won the first 3 games, pretty much why England was in the final anyway. But these people, memories are so short.
Yeah.
Their memories are so short. I wonder how many of those racist people that was abused them was celebrating Raheem Sterling goals in the early stages. The same one would be the people running around celebrating.
And that's where education comes in about again. So the main point which I was making is there's 2 ways of reaction. One is defense, you know, to a threat, which is a natural reaction of our human beings. That's how we react. If we see a threat, we go as a defense. So we have two ways. We have the flight motion or we have the fight motion. So whether we fight against that or we just flight, we just go. So these reactions, they do encounter threats, but they do not actually solve the threat, because that actually enhances. It just becomes confusion, it becomes a conflict, it becomes a distraction from actually the meaningful things which these wonderful people should be focusing on. And so I wanted to say the second reaction, which is a lot smarter while using emotional intelligence, is celebrating, channeling your focus to yourself and celebrating your achievements. Because by defending these reactions, or by defending our kind of our position towards these threats, we're only glorifying, or generally people are only glorifying these threats in general, because they're getting free publicity, although they're very little, you know, very minor towards big nation. But they have been glorified and getting free publicity because they've been shared from one to another to a third, although in a bad way. But at the same time, if we channel our focus to ourselves, like you're doing, you're focusing on your music, and we actually celebrate our achievements. And that's what I've seen with some of the TikTokers on both sides. One is actually defending and sharing all these posts. The other side was suddenly celebrating, oh, there's a black dentist there, there's a black doctor there, there's this one there, there's that one there. And I thought, well done for them, you know. That's how it should be, because that's the only way how you actually can defeat these kind of reactions, these kind of threats. You cannot defeat them. You cannot defeat ignorance with ignorance. It just doesn't work. No matter how much it's justified, it just wouldn't work. So why not channel the power and the energy within yourself and actually just reflect, project, and celebrate what you have?
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I think I said to somebody the other day that the media should be held accountable for a lot of this, because they think they're helping in what they do, but they don't. They're causing more problems. Now, some of these people who create these fake profile to post like something racist on social media, these people, some of them got to 10, 15, or say, let's say 100 followers. If people just left them to that 100 people that following them, nobody would know anything about this. That's but right. Instead, people go and share it because they're saying they're doing it out of anger to show what kind of thing. And next thing you know, it's on the television, it's on the radio. So those idiots who post that all of a sudden end up with millions of people seeing what they got to say.
And that is exactly the point which I just made. Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Exactly just leave it there. Just leave it there, and then them and their 100 friends would see it. But no, the media take it up and then share it to 200 million people around the world.
That's right. But that's why people then, or we are there as public figures to, you know, educate people to celebrate your achievements. And more people should be doing that. I mean, it was such a joy to see all these, you know, black models and black dentists and black doctors and black solicitors and all these kind of youngsters, young people who are actually celebrating their achievements. We should be doing more of these things.
That's what I'm saying. People need to lean more on the positive and put more focus on the positive things, and, you know, pay less attention to the negative.
Absolutely, and that's the only way to defeat that. Not just
sharing the negative, by sharing the negative out of anger, then you literally just empowering that negative and let it reach a lot more people than it needed to.
That's right. That's right, and that's absolutely what it's about. You know, it's about refocusing, rechanneling your energy, and making it useful, making it positive, making it beneficial. And that's how you come out of these troubles, because anger does not bring you anywhere. It will actually, and when anger hits anger, it just becomes disastrous. It's not going to find a solution for anything.
Naturally.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, I can see you've got your next meeting coming up. You didn't take much time for me then. No, just joking.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, like, you know, it's been a really good, it's been really good. It's been really
But
good.
before you go, I think the audience would love to hear you sing.
Oh, damn. I weren't planning for that, but I might do a little chorus. I mean, I had a gig where I was like making so much noise and the system weren't completely great. So my voice is a bit kind of mashed up, and I'm saving it for London and Thursday. But I give a little chorus from this song I did in the first lockdown, and this did really well everywhere, radios, whatever. And it's called Keep Holding On. It's about empowering people to hold on despite of circumstances and despite of how things are. Let's see if I can do a little bit from that. You and I are gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be all right. So keep holding on. Keep holding on. We gotta be strong. So keep holding on. Though sometimes it feels like you are one man against the world. Feels like everything you do is wrong. You can't do no right, but you and I are gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be all right. So keep holding on. Keep holding on. We gotta be strong, so keep holding on. I can feel your pain, because I've been there before, seeking opportunity, and they keep on closing the door, but you and I are gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be all right. So keep holding on. Keep holding on. We gotta be strong. So keep holding on. I know you've had enough and you're feeling like giving up. Please hold on to your faith. I'm begging you, please don't give up. anyway.
Wonderful. Lovely.
Yeah.
That was such a beautiful message. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Just spread hope. Hold on to that, because dark times will pass. You know, when dust sets, I always say when dawn sets in, make sure you remember that the dust will follow straight after. It will never last. So just keep on with your hope, keep on with being positive, and let the time pass.
True.
What a beautiful message. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's been wonderful. Thank you very much. And I'll make sure I share it everywhere in my network wherever I can. Because I think good work and good deeds, they just need to be celebrated. You know, we need to spread the message.
Naturally. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You take care.
Day, yeah?
And you too. Have a good time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.